Wilkinson here. Thanks for joining us again today. It would really help me a lot if you did a couple things if you're enjoying these episodes. First of all, hit that subscribe button below. It really helps me out. Secondly, if you are enjoying the podcast, hit that like button. That's a little thumbs up down there. Leave a comment. Let me know which episodes you like, and I'll try to do more like that. Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. Greetings, Wilkinson here. Today, my guests are Claudia Ried and Kraemer. Well, before we tell who you are, say hi.
Hi.
Hello, Wilkinson. How are you?
I'm great. There's so many things you're doing, I can't keep up with them all. So we're going to have to jump in somewhere. Before we do that, though, why don't we talk about who you are and where you came from? And then we'll talk about what you're doing here. Okay?
Okay.
So, Claudia, where are you from?
You mean originally?
Just tell a little of your history.
Born in the Midwest, grew up in Delaware, spent most of my time in New York before moving to California.
Okay. What year did you move to California?
The mid-90s?
I won't check it.
I think it's like around the mid-90s.
Mid-90s. So you've been here a while.
Yes.
And you were in Orange County first?
I was.
Why'd you go to Orange County?
Boyfriend and company I wanted to start.
Oh.
Let's combo those together. Which one lasted?
Which one?
The company.
Which one was it? What was the company?
She Beast. Women's activewear.
Oh.
Mainly cycling apparel. I was a cyclist.
Cool. And then you sold that company at some point?
I did. I sold it after 10 years.
It's always great to create something and then sell it.
Oh, yeah. It was it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fashionable and it was functional. And we were the number one seller in all of the REI stores for women's cycling apparel.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's still in biz now?
It is. It's been sold twice.
Really? I hope you made a lot of money on it.
Just gazillions.
Did you? That's great.
We're riding on our laurels.
All right. So you left Orange County and came to Palm Springs. What brought you here?
Aside from the weather, the people, and wanting to get out of the all the traffic in Orange County, that kind of says it in a nutshell. When we were able to move here, because my other half, who's sitting to my right, was very busy traveling around the world and needed to be close to a real airport. Well, but Palm Springs was not what it was then, you know. So we've been here for 6 years, almost.
Alan, what's your story?
Well, I started out on the East Coast, too. I was born in Newark, New Jersey, which was a charming place to be born.
New Jersey.
Jersey. You got a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with that, no.
Yeah, so lived there, basically went through high school there. And in spring break of my senior year, my parents decided we were moving to California. They said, well, you can stay here and finish out the year, or you can come to California. So 1968, California, I'm in. So I've been in California since 68, so I don't hardly even remember anything but California. Okay. And got involved, went to school here, went to college here, then got involved in the various aspects of the tech industry. So the first part of my career was as a CPU designer, computer designer from the ground up. When you actually had to design these things, you couldn't just take a chip from Intel. You had to design the memory buses and the CPUs and everything. And then the second half was all in audio signal processing and psychoacoustics, which was probably a subject for another show. But I actually got 40 patents in that field.
Wow. Okay, I'm glazed over now.
I
don't get any of that for someone who's not a techie.
Also, all through that, I was always, since I was 8 years old, I played piano and I was a composer. And for a while, I had a recording studio and produced jazz and classical recordings in parallel with that. So that kind of led to where we are now when we reinvented ourselves after coming to Palm Springs. Okay,
now we're going to get into that. So tell me all the stuff you do, because I've got a list here, and it's easiest if you just go through it, and then we'll break it down.
Okay, well, I'll go through.
So what are you guys doing?
Well, the first thing we did about a year after we moved here, we decided to start a YouTube channel, which has evolved in a number of different ways since then. But that is Palm Springs Point of View. And essentially we go out, we find things that maybe the mainstream media doesn't necessarily cover.
Okay.
And talk to the people that are involved, and then produce pretty much a weekly show. It's not every week, but now we do it pretty much once a week when we can. That shows up now as a live stream on Facebook Live on Monday evenings at 7:15.
Okay. And we'll put the links to all of this in the notes.
Yeah. And then it shows up on Tuesday morning on our YouTube channel, which again is Palm Springs Point of View.
Okay.
Then during the lockdown, we didn't have anything to do, like many people didn't have anything to do. And we decided on a whim to do a music show.
Okay.
And since I play the piano when we both sing, we said, well, that sounds like could be a show.
Right, right.
And it was actually Claudia's idea. I went over and played the piano and sang something, and she said, we should stream this because nobody has anything to do. I said, oh, yeah, okay. And I started turn the page to play another song. She goes, no, I mean right now.
Like right now.
Right now. So I duct taped my iPhone to a tripod.
No way.
And we went live on Facebook sideways. The first show was sideways because it's kind of obscure how on Facebook on the phone how you can get it to go Facebook Live, how you can get it to go into landscape mode. You have to go through swing a chicken over your head or something to make that happen. Finally, with the second show, we'd figured that out. Yeah, and then people watched, which was surprising, and we actually had people watching from Europe and Asia, as well as people in the U.S.
What great timing, though.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, it turned out that nobody else had anything to do either. So a lot of people would plan their day around these shows. We did over 200 of them. And obviously got a little more sophisticated technically as things moved on. So we
you know someone that could do the technical side?
Yeah, that would be me. Next to the piano, there's a computer, and I get to play the piano, sing, and operate the show.
You're doing that on the side?
On the side, yeah.
Oh, I watched a lot of them. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, well, I try to do it subtly.
Claudia wants to say something. Let
and
her
as
say
we
it.
grew, then there were special effects.
And
like
vintage
what?
Commercials and
oh yeah, I saw some of those. Yeah,
the one
the
I think you
cars
watched the Christmas show as an example. A lot of that stuff you saw there on the piano, the little village and the decorations and everything, those weren't real. That was all virtual.
Okay.
So the best one we did was Claudia played Ringo Starr in a Beatles show, and I put a virtual drum kit up. And then I put a little tambourine on a stand. I said, that's where the snare is. So you can imagine where all the other stuff is.
Right.
And people thought there was actual drums there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of our friends asked, how did you learn how to play the drums?
Really?
I just had to hit the hi-hat in the right place, without hitting anything, just hitting the air hitting. Yeah. But I did have Ringo Starkey's son's Ringo Starkey's drumsticks.
No, his son's.
His son's drumsticks. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Ringo Starr's son makes drumsticks.
Okay, so you're doing Point of View. Let's hear some more.
With the Point of View, so the show that we did during the lockdown was called Palm Springs Piano Bar.
And you shot that at your home, then,
At our
right?
home, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people would come after the lockdown was over. They'd come to our house for the first time, and they'd say, "We're very familiar with that corner of your house."
Where the fireplace and the piano?
Right, exactly. And then, as a result of that, we were contacted by the Palm Springs Cultural Center, and they had an idea for a show called Martinis and Moxie.
Okay.
And their concept for the first series was a Frank Sinatra theme. That's right up my alley from a piano and vocal standpoint, both of our alleys. And so we said, well, that's interesting. What would we do? And they said, well, our idea is to have a cocktail party where there would be martinis and you guys would play and sing, and then we move into the theater and show one of Frank Sinatra's movies. But we added to that. We did the cocktail party, and that stayed as the format. That runs about an hour.
So where was the cocktail party?
Essentially in the outer lobby of the Cultural Center.
Okay.
They put a grand piano in there for me.
All right, so it wasn't upstairs.
No, it was downstairs.
Okay.
It's always downstairs because that grand piano is downstairs.
Well, there's more room, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's upstairs and downstairs. So the party's downstairs and upstairs. Yeah. And then after the party, that first series, we would move into the theater and we had a panel. And the panel would include people that knew and worked with Frank Sinatra personally.
So actual people that knew him.
First person kind of stories about Frank. And then we'd show one of his movies. The finale of that, though, we didn't do a movie. We had a 15-piece band and we invited a bunch of different guests to come on the show. And it was kind of like an old-style Dean Martin show or variety show. And that led us into the second season where we did 4 shows of kind of like a 1954 taping of the Dinah Shore Show. And we had comedians and we had dancers and singers and all kinds of people on the show. We had some of the old Dean Martin gold diggers that live out here were on the show and performed. So that was a crazy season. And then our most recent season, we did 3 shows. We did the Cocktail Party and then Bye Bye Birdie as the first movie, Cocktail Party, Viva Las Vegas is the second. So there's kind of an Anne Margaret theme going on. And then the last show we did the Right to Rock, a Trini Lopez immersive musical in conjunction with the Gann Band and the Dreamboats. And that was a big success, and so we're coming back and doing that show twice again as a Modernism Week event, twice during the Modernism Week in February.
Are you going to have season 4?
Probably will. We've got some ideas about what that is, and the Cultural Center likes having us there. We're partners with them, so we will probably come back and do another season.
Okay. Anything else going on? Does that pretty well cover the main points?
Yeah, there's 3 things, essentially. Palm Springs Point of View, Palm Springs Piano Bar, and Martinis and Moxie.
Okay.
And, of course, these shows during Modernism are not Martinis and Moxie. They're specifically the Trini Lopez shows.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's give the mic to Claudia here. So let's talk about Point of View. How'd you get going on that, and who's your co-host on there?
Well, my co-host is Conrad Angel Corral. And how did we get going on there? Well, we started with one show. I had an idea. It was kind of like the way Piano Bar worked. Like, I've got somebody we want to shoot. I want to interview him. Let's do it like in 2 days.
Right.
So that happened. How many years ago was that? I want to say
June of 2018.
Yeah.
So 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? 5 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
2318 might be a few months off.
Four and a half years ago. Yeah. So it was pretty much solo me interviewing people that we found interesting. There were so many creative people here in Palm Springs and throughout the Coachella Valley, just talking with someone about their business, about their art. So that just sort of grew and blossomed. And then we met Conrad.
Where'd you meet?
Oh, well, this is a crazy story. Something about our little electric Fiat breaking down in front of his house.
No way.
Yes. And ding dong.
Oh, you went up to his house and said...
Yeah.
But there's more to it.
There was a lot going on there. Yeah, we kind of needed to shelter because it took 3 hours for the tow truck to come, and it was just a minor thing that we hit,
It
but
didn't hit anything. It was a loose bolt on the front axle.
Oh, a loose bolt on the front axle, of course.
Nothing to do with it being electric.
Okay, so all was fine. They invited us in. Blah 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 blah. Goodbye.
So wait, so your car broke down in front of their house.
It finally
you decided,
got
let's go up to
towed.
the house and see who lives there. Say hi.
Yeah.
And can we stay for lunch?
The coincidence is they happen to have also have a Fiat, electric Fiat.
Right.
Which
So-
pulled into the driveway as we're sitting in front of their driveway.
But we had no idea who they were. They came in. We came in. It was getting cold. It was December. It was evening. They invited us in. They gave us some salad or something, and we said hi, bye, and we never saw them for 10 months after that. We
Really?
didn't even hardly remember meeting them. And
We hardly remembered.
hardly remembered, yeah.
Correct.
And it turned out that, well, there they were again at one of the modernism events, that fall modernism events with their little electric Fiat. We said hi as 2 Fiat people, but we didn't make the connection.
Oh, you didn't realize?
No.
Wow.
It was weird because it was freezing cold winter, I guess, one time, and they looked different, and then they looked all, mid-mod, dappered out
They were all dressed
at
up,
the cul-de-sac experience.
Right.
And then we said, did we talk about what we were doing?
No.
Because
Just talked about Fiats.
yeah. Conrad was working with Cathedral City.
But we didn't know that.
And he also was doing film reviews.
We
Okay.
didn't know any of that.
We didn't find that out till...
Well, we met them again. We were doing a Palm Springs Point of View segment at Oscars covering the Gann Band.
Okay.
And that was outside, and those two same guys, the Fiat guys, came walking by. And we said, hi, how you doing? And then we found out, Conrad said, well, I do a little show for Cathedral City TV, that goes on cable over there. And we said, well, maybe we could work together sometime. And we decided to have lunch and discuss it. And we went over to Sparrows, I think, and we're having lunch. And it sounded good, like we should work together. And I said to Conrad, where do you guys live? And they said, we live up in the Cove, up at the top. I said, wait a minute. You're the guys that our car broke down in front of over a year
No
ago.
way. And they didn't remember.
They didn't remember. We
that?
didn't remember it. And finally, we made the connection.
Well, how many martinis went with that salad you got so that you didn't remember anything?
Well, nobody remembered anything.
It's so weird because it's not like we... between all of us, it's not like we blend into the
Right.
environment and look like tourists or
Right.
something. I don't know. We don't know how this happened.
So anyway, the rest is history. And
Yeah.
Conrad's Claudia's co-host, and we work together. We work together on the shows all the time.
So let me get this right. So the universe put you together 3 times and you finally got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of thick. It took 3 times for this to work out.
Huh.
And I don't remember the first show we did together, do you?
No. But it's out there. They're all out there on YouTube.
We kind of went crazy with major events like modernism and
Right.
covering everything. And we decided over the course of a year or two that really our focus is not as much the major events, but it's more like an interesting person that may be involved in that, but is up and coming or under the radar or doing their own thing that has either been successful or we're
Right.
truly interested in, and we want to share that with
Right.
our audience.
We decided Modernism Week and things like that had their own. They had plenty of publicity.
Right.
And they
Yeah, we
didn't.
totally support that, but it's like while this is going on, there are people behind the scenes, or people that maybe are out and about doing their own thing. That's really interesting to us.
So who does your design stuff on your program?
Palm Springs point of view,
Right.
Design stuff.
Well, like you've got props and you've got outfits. Who does your wardrobe? Because you have some pretty fantastic outfits you're wearing. on a lot of that.
For what I wear, I mean, I have actually been supplied by Trina Turk in the past,
Oh, cool.
but most of it is my wardrobe. On PS Piano Bar, when we started going back during the lockdown, one of our best friends, Carlos Kiko Cardoza,
Okay.
interior designer, costume designer, architect, and all-round glam guy and Mr. Creative himself. He would come up with these costumes for me to wear. All we had to do was think of a show that we wanted to do. We wanted to focus on somebody. We'd call him up and say, I want to be Linda Ronstadt tomorrow night. We're going to sing all our songs.
Oh, tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night, yeah. And he would come to the door, drop off in a bag, because we couldn't be near each other during that time, a bomber jacket, roller skates, tube socks,
Wait, where
short
did he
shorts.
get all this stuff?
Who
knows?
Good question, yeah.
Huh.
You name it, he had it.
One of my favorites is when we did The Sound of Music, and she was playing. We were playing every part.
Oh, no.
I was every person.
We did 3-night series of The Sound
Oh,
of
no.
Music.
I was Julie Andrews. I was Maria. I was Liesel. I was
You were the nun.
I was the nun. Yeah.
The best part was
Mother Superior.
the best part was the Mother Superior costume, which Carlos made in an afternoon out of an inside-out T-shirt. So the neck of the T-shirt went around her
No
face,
way.
and then the T-shirt draped down on either side, and then he put a sailor hat on top, and then he put like a
Right.
shroud over the whole thing. It was absolutely
a
crazy.
giant cross, and so that my mother. Well, it was Mother Superior. Yeah, sister, whatever, and then I had to be, what was the So Long Farewell of Wiedersehen,
Right.
and they all wore their lederhosen. He produces lederhosen, a hat, a big long feather, the high wool socks, the boots, the whole outfit.
So we had a costume.
And I added really long yarn braids with little bows just to feminize it a little. And I played every child,
Right. So Carlos did all that?
Yes, and I added the braids.
Wow.
You know.
Another classic.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu.
Another classic costume of his. He said that was his favorite. Is when she played the, and you have to see this to believe it. She played the Playboy Easter Bunny.
Oh.
It was our Easter show, but I kind of I heard the word bunny and I kind of
You went bunny.
got a little confused.
And he made, if you see the photographs, he made the collar and the things that go,
The wrist things,
things, and
Cuffs.
all the cuffs.
Yeah.
And he did that all with some kind of plastic material, and then he drew the cufflinks and things on these things. So when you see it on the video, they look real. He shadowed them and everything, so but they're just drawn on this plastic, and he had it all done in one day.
And I wore a bustier, next to nothing, fishnets, and then I stuffed peeps into my bustier.
Oh, no.
Which, when I hopped like a bunny, they went flying out to our viewers, like popping out.
Then he made a tail, a little yellow tail
yeah.
out of it. What was that? A shower scrunchie or something?
Shower scrunchie, that you want,
Right.
a little tail. Boop.
Oh my God.
So those were the fun things that we did, but that was mostly during our lockdown shows. And for PSPOV, it's just sort of mostly my own wardrobe. But then for our Martinis and Moxie shows at the Cultural Center, all in period costumes. So for the Dinah Shore variety shows, which were full-blown variety shows with guests, with everything, I wore my Dinah Shore wig, a 50s frock, and kind of kept in character on stage. Right?
And then you were, for the Trini show, who were you?
Nancy Sinatra.
Wow.
Of course.
So where did you get those outfits?
Vintage shopping.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wig shopping. Go-go boot shopping.
Do you have any spare wigs? Because I'm bald,
I think you'd look.
Anne Margaret. The Anne Margaret. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Now, was that like an auburn colored wig or what? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of hot rollers going on.
Oh. You can take turns answering this, but what's your favorite thing about doing all this?
You mean the prep work or the performance
All of
or
it.
the
Just what you're doing, what you're involved in. Why do you do it?
I love performing. I believe that would be the same for you.
Yeah, I really enjoy. I'm amazed that I get to perform, because for years I'd always, I'd perform at our own parties, and we'd have these soirees at home, and
Right.
I'd play and sing and everything.
Wait. You had parties and you did not invite me?
That's back in Orange County.
Had we known you.
All future parties.
Well, that's no excuse. Okay.
And I'd watch TV and I'd see these people singing and performing. And I go, I could do that, but I guess I'm getting too old now. I'll never have a chance. And then all of a sudden, we come to Palm Springs, and anything's possible in Palm Springs. And so now we're performers. And the other thing I like about it is I like to make people happy.
Exactly.
And people seem to enjoy these shows.
Right.
I mean, during the lockdown, people told us they were a lifeline. And there's nothing that's more gratifying than that.
Right.
Well, and what was interesting was when we had the couple lifts when, the air was clear and you could invite people, we had live audiences at home. And it was so much fun. We still do that occasionally. We had, for a Christmas show, we had...
Right.
3 people. Yeah.
But we did have was a little on the wild side.
We had a few
so
parties.
Carlos was one of those people, right?
Oh, exactly.
Right. Okay.
and he's come on as Santa in the past for a show that we aired a couple years ago and then re-aired it. And this time he kind of jumped on with me while I sang Santa Baby.
Cool.
But we had like friends come over and be live audience, which is always fun because we love that personal interaction, which was what we get with our live performances.
Yeah, and then a few months ago we did when the Queen passed away. We did the show called the Queen's Playlist.
Wait.
And we researched what all her favorite music was. And
Really?
we performed that. We performed about 7 to 8 songs that were favorites of the Queen. And Carlos came on as he was a viceroy of something. He was you wouldn't believe it, the way he was dressed. Had the top hat, and he had the tie and the waistcoat.
He was the king of Cardosia.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. All vintage top hat, tails, everything. Crest, jewels, you name it. I mean, it was,
He must have a warehouse. I mean, for all the things you're talking about.
He's just very organized with his costumes.
Wow.
And he stays in character.
Oh, does he?
So it's perfect.
Wow.
So, Carlos, you need to listen to this podcast because it's all about you, babe.
Someday Carlos should be on this podcast.
I was thinking
He
that.
should.
Yeah.
He should.
Right. So where are you guys going from here? What's coming up?
Well, I mentioned earlier the Trini Lopez immersive musical, The Right to Rock, was a big hit in December, and we decided to do it 2 more times in February during Modernism Week, and then it became a Modernism event, and it's on the Modernism calendar, and it's ticketed through Modernism now.
Well,
Wow.
and what's great is it's going to be it is a fantastic, it's proven event, but it's Alan and myself doing our martini bar that we do. On stage, it's if you have whoever's seen My Name is Lopez, the amazing documentary by P. David Ebersol and Todd Hughes, the Ebersol Hughes Company, produced by the Gand Band, Joan and Gary Gand, actually. We have clips from that and we come to life as an immersive musical with the Gand Band, the Dreamboats, myself as Nancy Sinatra on stage while we're talking to Trini, and Trini is talking to the audience, and the music comes live. So it's a really, really, really fun event. So we have 2 events. That's February 17th and the 24th at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. It's going to be a really, really fun time.
Sounds great. So, Alan,
Yes.
you have another job you do. We got to do a little plug on that.
Oh, well, yeah. I've always been involved in technology since I was like 5 years old. And obviously I was in that industry. And people started asking me to do things in their homes. Like, I've got problems with my Wi-Fi. I've got problems with my TVs. I've got my computer. And I pretty much cover all of that with a little business I have called Tech Palm Springs.
Okay.
And I can come in and do everything from get your Wi-Fi squared away, get your network squared away, to update your TVs, to the latest streaming technology, to smart home technology. Our house is completely automated. We just talk to it, and all the lighting does what we want it to do. And so basically all of that, all of those things, and also IT sort of things, help people with their computers and cover that whole gamut, PC or Mac, and or phones. Sometimes people ask me to come help them with their phones and show them how to do things, or get their phones squared away because they're having problems with them. So it's a fun business. It's another little thing where you make people happy. I love going. Somebody's completely perplexed. Like last week, I had a client that he said, as a joke, he said, I'm ready to pull out a revolver here. And when I came, I rang the doorbell. He goes, "Did you bring the bullets?"
Wow.
Well, it took me about an hour, a little over an hour, and I walked out. He had a big smile on his face, and everything was taken care of.
Wow.
What about automating studios like Nancy Worthington's museum? Totally automated.
Well, yeah, I did a little museum where I completely automated. She's a sculptor, Nancy Worthington, that does these kinetic sculptures.
Okay.
And they move, and they have motors and lights and everything on them.
Right.
And she had 30 of them or so in the museum, and no way to really control them. The way she had was almost impossible to use. And so I completely voice automated her entire museum. And then she said, I'm getting tired when people come in. I have to explain the sculptures over and over again. So I put QR codes on all of them and recorded her speaking about
So she
them.
says it one time, and that's it.
Says it one time.
It's like when you go to a real museum now.
Well, it is a real museum.
Well, it is a real museum, but like you go to
Right.
LACMA and you can see an exhibit and it'll be the same. You put your headphones on and you listen.
Yeah, so
Right.
people can point their phone at and they see a picture of the sculpture, so you make sure you're looking at the right one. And while that's on, she's explaining what it is and the history of it and things like that.
Cool. We'll put a link so that all of us non-techies can get a hold of you.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know. I find it very difficult to live without smart home technology. If we're traveling, staying with friends, staying in a hotel, I start going, Alexa, turn on. I'm like, wait, nothing's happening. Where am I?
Oh, no.
Because it's a way of life for us, not for
Right.
a lot of people. I think a lot of people are afraid of it, but you shouldn't be, because it really is a game changer. Imagine your lights, your shades, everything just working, on the dime. And we like to control our environment. Like we have lights for dinner time, we have lights for movie time, we have lights for cocktail time. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, movie time, and the lights change in the house, and the TV
the TV goes
automatically
on.
comes on, and everything, and away we go.
Oh, brother. All right. Last question. So I always ask everybody, what have you learned in your life that you could pass on to my listeners? What's the main thing? How do you run your life?
Well, I think what I learned is never stop learning, and use fear as your best friend. When you have these ideas about maybe what you want to do next, or dream of, I should have done this and I should have done that, relax, visualize it, and do it. I mean, I thought when I sold my company, maybe that's it. But then I thought, no, that's not it. There's so many more things I want to do.
Right.
And if you don't jump into it, you'll always be regretting, and that's how you get old. So I think always learn something new, always experience something new, and go for what you fear most, that you really believe that you would love to do and share with people.
Excellent. Alan.
Kind of playing off that, I've learned a lot of times I self-impose limits, or I used to self-impose limits. Well, I can't do that.
Right.
Because that's not going to work. That's never going to work. And I've kind of gotten past that now. And when I see what we've been able to accomplish here since we've been in Palm Springs,
Right.
I say, well, there is no limit. I can do anything I want. I can get up on a stage and sing in front of a 15-piece band.
Right.
Or I can fix just about anything anybody has a problem with in their house. And I can produce these. I have a vision of what I want to produce for our shows or promos, and I can create anything I can imagine. So there's
Right.
there's really no limits. As Claudia says, we just go out there and just start doing it. And she's been great with that, because I'll go, yeah, like at the beginning of the lockdown shows, I go, yeah, okay, and I'm starting to turn the page. And she goes, no, I mean now. Or the beginning of Palm Springs Point of View, she says, I was just kind of thinking about it. And she said, we have an appointment this afternoon to do a show with the first show is a chicken ranch.
Oh, wow.
And so I quickly ran out, got the microphone I thought I needed, found a camera, and went down there, and we shot a show at Chicken Ranch that afternoon.
Well, I might be the jump starter, but he is the genius behind everything we do and more. I don't know how this guy does it. Masterminding everything all at once, from, I say, front of the house to back of the house, right? The creative, the left brain and the right brain, right together with this guy.
Well, the lockdown, the live streaming shows are fun because I'm playing the piano, singing, and also out next to me on the right-hand side, I have the computer that's running the show all at the same time.
And I have no idea what's really going on.
Right.
I'm just like singing, what's the song, what's next, what do I say, just engaging, and he's doing a million things at once.
But it's all possible.
Right. It is. Good word.
Oh, and we've also learned that it's possible that married couples can work together without killing each other.
Oh.
Rehearsals can be challenging sometime,
Right.
What do you mean that key? I'm not going to change the key for this. I'm like, it's two of us, right? You know what? I know how to walk over to the piano and find my key, my starting note, right?
Right.
And we're still together.
I do.
After going on 20 years now.
Start here.
Excellent. Well, you guys are real fun. Thank you for coming in. It was a good one.
Thank you, Wilkinson. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And we love your podcast.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to having you on our show.
Yeah, you're going to be on
that'd
our
be great.
show next.
That'd be a first for
live
me.
and in person.
Uh-oh.
We'll see your face.
All right. Yeah, I'm the mystery man. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.